good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this week's new episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Boomstick XL, and man, this is a special episode for a lot of reasons. One, we have Joe, who is designing and releasing this month, of course, Song of Iron. He's nervous as hell, and I think it's because every time I see him, I say, Joe, your game is going to be in the running for Game of the Year, and he says, I don't know. I'm telling you, it is going to be Game of the Year potentially in that conversation. Killing me. I know it is. The pressure. But listen, folks, if you missed last night's primetime gaming, it was packed with a lot of passion, but more so a lot of facts, folks. Listen, I'm not a tech guy. I'm not a PC guy. I don't have a rig. My PC is good enough to run this channel. And what the conversation that really took over the entire show last night, which was almost 3 hours, by the way, was how a lot of folks who are defending Sony's decision regarding the SSD and not taking responsibility once you put that themselves put that into your console came at the hands of people that actually understand why this tech isn't going to work and why Sony is having a hands-off approach, and it's not good. So if you missed out on that, the show notes are up, the timestamps are up. You're going to get some, obviously, some Halo Infinite beta gameplay in the background today, as well as the Ascent, some more of that. Those are the two games that I've been playing with unbelievably amount. But let's get into the introductions, and we'll start with our special guest, Joe. How the heck are you, brother? You've been on a few shows. I had a chance to interview you last year, and your game is releasing this month, man, at the end of the month. How excited and, more importantly, nervous you are right now.
Hey, man. How's it going? Thanks for having me again. I'm feeling really good, honestly. I'm trying to keep the nerves down and just have a good time with this thing because it's crazy, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime kind of moment. And so I've gone through a few of the absolute panic phases a couple weeks ago, and now I've gotten through those hurdles, and it's sort of just trying to make sure it's as good as it can be with the time I've got left. And other than that, just kind of trying to enjoy it.
Well, no yellow CD Projekt Red delay pages.
No, none of that. None of that.
CD4, okay?
I'm not officially gold, but I've gotten through all of the certifications I need to. So the game is coming. There's no stopping it. Yeah, we're good.
Well, we're going to be looking forward to it. Like I said, one of the comparisons I hear a lot is that it's very it gives people the vibes of Inside and Limbo, two absolutely incredible games to be compared to. And obviously, there's a whole story, potentially even a trilogy that you had talked about. And I think your game. All jokes aside, I think people, in the Xbox community are really going to appreciate the effort that has gone into this game, and I think it's going to be extremely successful for you. And I'm so glad to have been a part of that journey. I can't wait for you to play it myself. Hopefully I'm going to be able to review it and get the people out there to know how amazing this game is, because obviously I think there's something super special. But let's continue with the introductions and, of course, the cog that keeps this show rolling each and every week. Zemi Games, welcome back, brother.
Hello. Joe, it's so nice to meet you. And of course, we have Pong, we have Mav. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Super excited to be on the show. Been playing a ton of Elder Scrolls Skyrim. I need to launch the Ascent. I said I was going to play it on launch, and I've yet to even launch it. I've been playing Elder Scrolls Skyrim, man, and oh my God, does it play so good on the Series X? I mean, and those loading screens are ridiculously short. And that was a game that, back on the 360 and back on the Xbox One was just plagued by, the super long, interruptions that were the loading screens, right?
Yeah, they were bad.
But man, it plays so good on the Series X. But no, I'm super excited to be here. Can't wait to talk about Song of Iron and all the other amazing topics that we have lined up, today. So,
Yep. Well, glad to have you back, brother. And of course, our other special guest, who has really become he's like a chair that just came in. It's sitting there. It's a nice looking chair. People like sitting in it. Nav, welcome back, brother. How you feeling?
Doing fantastic, Boom. Shout out to Joe here. I'm excited to play your game later this month. Super excited about that. Zemi, as always, and my brother from another, Pong Soul. This is gonna be an awesome show, awesome panel you have assembled today, Boom. So let's get rolling and into these topics.
Well, yeah.
After you have to intro Boom, Pong. I mean,
Well, of course,
you have to get through that, I guess.
Yeah. I suppose we might have to introduce him. Pong So, welcome back, brother. Love what you're doing over at your channel. Love the Saturday morning banter that lasts sometimes as much as 4 hours that you got going on with Steel Rain. Thanks for joining us, brother. And I'm glad to have you a part of this show each and every week.
Hey, look, Boom. It's been a long time. Obviously, it's been 12 hours, just about somewhere in that neighborhood. Anyways, no, what an honor to be here with Joe. Obviously, been following the progress of Song and Iron for so long, and Joe is such an awesome dude that this is truly an honor to be on here with him, Joe, and looking forward to the end of the month. Finally, get my hands on Song of Iron, the full game. I can't wait. So it's great to be here. Obviously, Zemi, my brother from another Mav. Awesome to see you guys. Boom. Again, it's been a short few hours. So you know what? Let's get down to it. My mouth is still warmed up from last night, so we're good to go. Let's go.
Well, we have a lot to talk about, folks. I want to open up with something, again, small topic. It was brought to my attention by Web Dave of Twitter, who actually won one of the prizes of the Christmas in July that Mrs. Boomstick orchestrated. They just released, or its pre-orders are up for the Xbox wireless controller Aqua Shift Special Edition, and it's blue. And I ordered it, not because for me, but for Mrs. Boom. She is a huge fan of the color blue. That's her favorite color. And yeah, it's a nice looking controller. It's almost two-toned on the front, and it's got a real deep, dark bluish purple on the back. It's a nice looking controller. And again, I think that's going to be controller 18 for me now. It's becoming a problem, folks. Too many controllers, only two hands. I don't know what I'm doing, but Mrs. Boomstick is going to enjoy that controller because, again, that is her favorite color. So if you didn't know about it, check it out. Go to the Microsoft Store. Actually type in, because if you go to some of the links, it's not working. I thought maybe they were getting slammed. Turns out that there's an error. Just type in Xbox wireless controller Aqua Shift Special Edition, and it will come up on the store, and you will be able to pre-order it that way. But I want to start right, with Joe. Obviously, he is our special guest. We do have Song of Iron releasing as an Xbox exclusive. You know what? Just give us a Joe, if you don't mind, the development update as to how close this game is to gold.
Yeah, sure. It's really close, honestly. I've gone through a few certification passes and gone through, and now it's just about when I decide that that's the final build and be happy with it and walk away for the last couple weeks and worry about all the press side of things. And it's super close to that. And I've just been working on performance on all the Xbox kits from the original one all the way to the Series X, and recently tripled the performance. So that was it went from minor panic to absolutely super happy about it. So that's a wonderful little button I found that helped everything a whole bunch. And yeah, I mean, if for people who played on Xbox One for the demo in December, that was way lower visuals and texture resolutions, and all that's gone. It's all pretty much running high resolution stuff and over 30 frames on the Xbox One and stuff, and then easy 4K 60 on Series X. And
wow, nice.
Yeah, so it's it's flying. I couldn't be happier about that, and yeah, so it's just I'll probably gold within the last 2 weeks or so, just because I'll work on it as long as I can, and to get all that little. It's amazing what happens in the last few weeks of development, because you're kind of done. You're starting to look at the big picture, and you can really fix the little bits that do a ton to the whole experience. Nice. Once you see the whole thing kind of in its final state, and that's the point I'm at right now. So it's nice. Just getting a few more languages in and that kind of stuff, just to make it open for as many people as I can, and all that, stuff.
You know what? I have a question for you, because obviously it's easy to understand when you're talking about the big, AAA bombs that are out there,
Mhm.
these big studios, and all the interworkings that they have to do with Microsoft, and they go back and forth for what seems like years before a game is out. How has been your experience working with ID at Xbox specifically to get this game out?
It's been awesome. I mean, they're really there to just sort of support the process. They have no sort of desire to change games or anything like that. So they're just looking to bring more games to the system. Like that's what it seems like to me, based on the way that they're working with me. And I email them. They email me back right away if I have any questions or concerns about anything. We work through it, and yeah, anytime I have questions, they're there, and it's been awesome.
That's an interesting point, and very, what, as someone who would never want to know how to make games, like I never want to know. I don't want to look behind the curtain. I started to potentially go to school for gaming, and then I realized that it would have been a big mistake for me personally, because I just want to play games. I never want to learn how to make them, because for me, then it would ruin it.
You can lose a little bit of the magic.
Yeah, and I definitely want to do that. And the reason why I bring that up is because just recently we have seen several developers, indie developers, much like yourself, teams of 1 and 2 and 5 and 10, come out against Sony and regarding the exactly what you're doing. I need help with something. I send an email. I have a manager that I can speak to. It seems like the process for Xbox is super understanding and easy, whereas Sony doesn't seem to be the case. And a lot of people, we had talked about it on last Thursday's show, are indies choosing Xbox because of this? And I think that might in fact be the case. Pong, I want to grab your opinion on that. Hearing Joe's story, does and obviously this is a real life developer who's releasing a game this month. What are your thoughts on that? About how we're starting to really see the picture painted for two different companies. One seems to be, I love working with them, and the other picture, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this so much, Boom, or through the months here, and it's great to have Joe on and any developer on, and always confirming some of the stuff that's being talked about in the background, right? And some of the stories that we've heard. And again, this just goes back to Xbox's focus on making the indies as important as a AAA game, right? As we're seeing when we see stuff like Death's Door come out and take over social media and really grab people's attention. We see a small game like The Ascent made by a small team come out and get as much press as a AAA game. That's what Microsoft sees and Xbox sees as the future, right? Because like Joe, there's so much accessibility now to the tools to create these games. We're starting to see the divide between AAAs and indies outside of gigantic marketing campaigns. We're starting to see those lines blur when we look at these games, and when we take a look at Death's Door. Let's just use that one because it's getting a lot of praise right now. Possible game of the year, which I know Song of Iron is going to beat, by the way, but that's okay. I think that when we see this stuff happen, if we took a look at Death's Door and we didn't know who was behind it, we wouldn't flinch if somebody said, some big publisher, some big developer was behind it and this was a AAA game. We wouldn't flinch. We'd say, oh, it's a smaller game. But at the same time, quality-wise, we wouldn't even think, second guess that, right? That would just be part of, okay, yeah, no, I can see that, definitely, for sure. And I think that's the biggest change that we've seen happening. And Xbox understands that with Game Pass, they need a diversity of games. If they're going to reach these 2 billion, 3 billion people out there that are now gaming, right, you're going to have a wide-ranging games. And with the indie scene, that kind of gives you a lot of extra content that you can bring into your ecosystem, right? Very easily, as long as you treat those indie developers with the same kind of respect that you would give any developer out there, whether it's a household name or not. That just says to those people, rolls out the welcoming mat and says, come on in. You're going to be respected. You're going to be shown all the same kind of respect that we give everybody else. We're going to give you that same type of support no matter who you are. And again, we've seen outside of the United States, outside of the big markets, we're seeing all this brand new indie talent start to come up and bubble up, right? And we're starting to see all these people come out of the woodwork, whether it's in Korea, whether it's in China, whether it's in India, it does not matter. We're seeing all these talented people come up with what could be the next big game. Yeah. So I think Xbox realizes that. I think they've realized that for a long time. And, as far as Sony side goes, again, we don't know what's going on there. We never know. We'll know the inside. And, again, stories, there can be disgruntled people that always talk and that kind of stuff. There has been more than, just a little smoke. So I got to feel that there is something missing there. And I don't know if that Sony just decided to stop focusing so heavily on the indie side. And that kind of has caused these gaps where people are kind of getting left out, hung out to dry when it comes to indie development. Maybe they're just not getting that same level of support that they're finding over at Xbox. Again, that could all just be, who knows, right? They could have just pulled back some of the resources that they were once giving to indie developers. But at the same time, with Xbox, we're definitely seeing that the priority has been made and it's going to pay off at the end of the day. And so, again, obviously having Joe here confirming that, how much support he's getting. I mean, he's not, his game, unfortunately, has not even been, brought into Game Pass yet, right? And he's still receiving this amount of support from Xbox, and he can easily reach out and get whatever he needs and get a response. That's huge. Again, it just tells all the other indie developers who hear all these stories, go to Xbox. Go to Xbox. They're going to give you what you need, and I think that's the best part about that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Zemi Games, let's grab your opinion on it. Do you have any questions for Joe regarding Song of Iron, or more specifically on how his development has been, with ID at Xbox?
Honestly, I think all of us are massive achievement hunters, right?
Yes.
I think that's safe to say.
Yes.
And whenever I look at Song of Iron's gameplay, it seems like there is a lot of things in the combat that you could do to potentially unlock some really special or interesting achievements. Is there anything maybe that you can share with us on the achievement front? Any special achievements, or maybe what is your favorite achievement? Because I can only imagine if I created a game, I would go out of my way to create the most amazing achievements that have ever been made.
Oh, no pressure. Let me see. I honestly, the achievements aren't too crazy, but I do have some fun ones and some hidden ones that I think will be interesting to find. There's nothing maybe like what you're hoping for.
Okay.
In terms of crazy, I would love to do that. I think that's one of those, I hate to say it, but next game things. Now that I've understood this process, getting the achievements in was a whole process of itself, and it went simple so I could do it and do it in an understandable way. I definitely have got some stuff hidden in there that I think there's some really fun things once they're found and that. But honestly, this first project, I definitely intended to just keep it simple. Don't mess it up, and then I'll be happy. But yeah, it's definitely something it's one of those things on my list of do a way better version of this for the next thing.
Got you.
Yeah.
So Song of Iron 2 confirmed then, Joe. You're already thinking about those achievements.
Always. I mean, I'm always thinking about the next stuff. I think, one of the big things about this game, and I've talked about kind of the trilogy a bit in different places, but this is the first time I've done so many of these things that are involved with this, and I just inevitably am excited for doing it again now that I understand it, because a lot of you're building something and you're learning on the job. It's always going to only be so good, certain bits, right? Mm-hmm. And I cannot wait to start the next project. I'm so in this one right now. I cannot wait to move on because I've learned so much and I've got so many ideas based on what I've got. So
I was gonna ask you, Joe, now that you've learned all of this, right? Do you see yourself staying as just yourself, or do you have any ideas of maybe getting a team together, maybe going down that road, or do you want to just solely do hands-on everything yourself, control it all?
Yeah. I think I'd be super happy to stay full solo like this. Absolutely. I think the ideal though for me would be to bring like 2 people on maybe.
Right.
Just for the needed time. The last thing I'd want to do is go much bigger than that, because I want to become a boss of of a company. I want to make the game. So as long as it's in that kind of range, yeah.
Right. No, that's cool.
That's a great point. Great question too, Pong, because that's interesting. When you obviously the game is completed. So I mean that's the thing that's interesting, is that your game is almost out. It's not out yet. You went through all of this stress. You went from panic mode to elation. Like, okay, we're good. We're almost gold. We went through certification. We're ready to rock and roll. 3 weeks it launches. Let's go. Most people want to take a bit of a break. Like, people want to be like, yeah, you know what? I kind of need to take a breather a bit. But you're ready. It seems like you're ready to go on part 2. Now, just out of curiosity, how far along are you in the development of, let's say, part 2?
It's a little bit
artwork.
Yeah, it's no artwork, nothing like that. I mean, it's a huge part of what's been done on 2 is what's already been done for 1. It just in terms of I'm building the foundation. I'm not going to scrap everything and start over. I'm going to use the combat system. I'm going to improve it, but I'm going to use it, all that kind of stuff. So theoretically, it's ready to just start being built. I definitely will take a break, because as excited as I am, it's always good to relax a little bit. This will be a crazy next month or 2 as everything kind of rolls out. But and I want to support bugs and fix bugs for a little bit, make sure the game is not like being prevented from being played by anybody or anything like that. And but I will be absolutely thinking about 2 more and more as time goes on. Yeah.
You know what? My last question for you regarding this is, we have seen in the community, first of all, you've been making the rounds on a lot of these smaller and the bigger podcasts, which I think is awesome. I think the grassroots way of advertising is potentially overlooked, especially in like the smaller podcast communities. Like, everyone on this panel, we have smaller channels. I mean, Razemi is rather large. He's definitely in the double digits of the K. So he's he with his guys. So he's doing stuff. But everyone else here is relatively new and small. We're indies. We're considered the indie community of podcasting. And you've been making the round on both big and small, which is awesome. But my question to you, Joe, is, with the amount of buzz that Song of Iron has been getting, and quite frankly, it has been the talk of many, many towns that I'm out in on a regular basis. And Speculation Town is popping with what's going on with your game and your potential trilogy. What audience did you decide to target for because the gamers are fickle, right? There's such a wide palette of gamers that some people like side scrollers, some people like FPS games or third person over the shoulder story driven games. What audience were you targeting with this? Both new and old school?
Yeah, I think it was a really big mix. That's a really good question, because at first, the game, I was just trying to make something that I thought would be interesting for myself to make. And then it's slowly, I looked at a lot of games that I really enjoyed, and I got tons of inspiration from. I mean, you mentioned Journey or Inside and Limbo at the beginning, and those were monster inspirations for the game, especially Inside. Visually and storytelling wise, I thought was a masterclass in that form of development. And I've taken a ton of notes from that. And that's really turned, a lot of people would make comments early on about how it looked so much like a game from like Super Nintendo or something, but like just with the updated visuals of what they would expect, like where they thought games would have gone, kind of thing. And I love that. And that kind of fueled me to keep pushing in that direction a little bit. And yeah, there's just so many things. And in the end, I just wanted to tell an interesting story and to have a really interesting experience. I don't think of it too much as like a game that has, I don't know, just like it's not a combat game. It's not it's like an experience. And I hope that, people go through it all and then just enjoy it and have a good time. And whatever audience wants that, I'm happy to include them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that compliment is huge. When you saw again, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. When I saw your game originally, before I got a chance to know you and actually call you a friend, I got immediate vibes of Inside and Limbo. Those are the two things that jumped off the page. Yeah, two Viking versus little kid running around and getting smashed. I totally get it, but that's the vibes I got. And one of the things that I walked away with is it felt new, but it felt old school at the same time. And that's why I can't wait for people to get their hands on it. Like I said, I'm going to be reviewing it for my channel. I cannot wait to play this game. But you know what I want to do, Joe, is if you know you're okay to hang around, we're going to continue the show and talk about some of the other topics that we're going to get into. But before we do that, Mav, is there any questions that you'd like to ask Joe regarding the game? Because you're the only one that hasn't spoken yet, and I don't want to leave you out.
No, I mean, I just want to tell him that it's super impressive what you've been doing. I think that Xbox is definitely getting a gem here that's going to add to the library. And it's not just, I mean, it's good for the Xbox platform and as you as well, right? So thanks for making this amazing game. I think I wanted to add that, like, I think Xbox, as Pong was saying before, is definitely on the right track. It seems like when kind of that whole transition happened after 2013, they just took a look at themselves and was like, okay, what's wrong here? What's wrong here? What's wrong here? Phil made the list, the famous list that he went on the E3 stage and actually spoke to everybody about the changes that he plans to make. First was community, developer support, and all these different things. And we've been seeing all of that through fruition, where in contrast, you go back, you know, you had a Fallout with Supergiant Games, right? You had Fallout with Phil Fish. You had Fallout with Jonathan Blow, right? It's where all these relationships from these great developers were getting frayed. And now we're even seeing Hades come back into Game Pass. So things are definitely changing. And we hear stories like Joe is giving us about his experience. And it seems like it's a pretty seamless, straightforward experience that people should have when they're trying to put a game on a platform. So I'm super excited that, honestly, because I'm just an Xbox gamer, probably first, that game is coming to Xbox. Because when I saw it for the first time, it stood out, right? And I think that's why it's caught a lot of people's attention. Sometimes you see like the sizzle reel trailers, or you see like these 15 minutes or 20 minutes of like different games, and then there's that one catches your eye, and you're like, oh, okay, what's that? I'm gonna wait for that game. And that one, I think, for a lot of people was Song of Iron. So that it's about to happen. We're about to finally get this freaking game. So congrats, dude, on that, dude. And I can't imagine how big of a deal this is for you as well. Like, just as a creator and as somebody putting something out there to the world, like, this is like your baby. You know what I mean? And I can't imagine the nerves you're feeling, dude. And I can feel it right now. And you're not even in the same room. But dude, I'm just super happy for you, man. And then the involvement. The other thing I want to say, because this is my first chance to get to talk to you, your involvement with the community as well is a huge thing, because it stands above anything that I've seen from any other developers actually that are making a game that I would actually consider a high profile game at this point, right? So keep that up as well, man, because I think there needs to be more of a melding between the dev community and the gamer community as well, right? So just props to you on all of that.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I mean, a lot. It's bizarre. I'm just another one of the gamers. I just happen to be making one too, and so I love I really appreciate being invited on, and I love talking about games. And it doesn't it's not always Song of Iron, and I don't mind that. I love just hanging out. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. You there, Boom?
Your mic is mute.
Oh, there you go. You know what it is? I don't want you to hear the doing the lawn, which no one sent me the memo. So
it happens to the best of us, Boom.
It's ridiculous. How dare they mow the lawn during my show?
Did you remember to put the money under the mat, Boom?
You know what? I'm not giving them any money. They're working for free today. It's not my property, so I'm not paying them squat. But what I have to do real quick is thank the two people that dropped super chats in here. Kay Asante, who was with us last night, Pong. So this is the man, folks. I'm on a mission to get him past 100 subs. I tweeted it last night. I'm going to put it in the chat. Look, if you trust my opinion, and I think a lot of you folks do, it's because I do not do things or subscribe to people that I'm not subscribed to myself. I do not push any agendas outside of let's be positive, let's have fun, let's enjoy gaming as a community. This is a gentleman that has a YouTube channel. He has 2 shows weekly, the Gaming Circle podcast and On the Reel. He does that with, of course, our good brother, Everborn Saga, who is
he's at 98 right now. Boom. So
folks, please, for the love
really,
of Jehovah,
out of the 150, 170, whatever is here right now, 2. That's all we need to push him over 100. So let's keep him climbing. Let's go.
Let's make August 3rd. I think that's what today is. August 3rd special for him to remember, because like I said, it's a big deal in the YouTube community, especially if you're a content creator. Your first sub, your first 100, and of course your first 1,000. And then after that, it's, for me anyway, it's going to be 10,000. I'm close. Not that close. I'm still like 1,200 subs off, but hopefully by the end of the year we'll get there. But get over to Kayasante's channel and sub this man. He does good work. He's a community dude, and he's very, very knowledgeable. We also have Gerald Mack drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, just showing support, Team Xbox, Team Gaming. You know what? I didn't read Kayasante's super chat. I'm going to read that again. $5 super chat says, afternoon, gents, loving the show and panel. Xbox is really solidifying itself as a haven for great indie creators like Joe. Cannot wait for Song of Iron. Indeed, we're all very excited about that. But, keeping the indie conversation going, there is a publisher called Annapurna. I think you might have heard of them. They seem to be a publisher that understands, and when they see gems, they go after them, and they publish their games. So they had their showcase on, I believe it was Thursday of last week, and they showed a lot of games, but the one particular game that literally jumped off the screen for me. I'm like I said, I was born in the 70s, folks, right? So my palette for music is very wide. But the 80s was the hairband stuff, right? Poison and Kicks and Def Leppard and Motley
Cinderella.
Crue. Scorpion, right? Now we're getting into like I wish I didn't have a mohawk. Where's my mullet? I'll go get it right now. And one of the games that they showed, folks, was an Xbox exclusive that I believe stole the show, and that is the Artful Escape, folks. Now, this is a 2D adventure platform. It features the character's name is Francis. He's a teenager with who is a guitar prodigy. He sets out on a psychedelic, multi-dimensional journey to inspire his stage persona, and obviously that comes directly from the company. The Artful Escape is going to be coming out on September 9th. Again, another game directly into Xbox Game Pass. And again, this is becoming almost a standard fare these days, because who doesn't want to get into Xbox? I actually talked to several developers that said there's a waiting list to get in there. Joe, I want to start with you because you obviously are an indie developer. Have you had a chance to take a look at the Artful Escape? Is it a game that interests you? Joe, you're muted.
There yes.
Like that happens to the best of us. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've been watching it for a while. I think it looks super cool. I think it was in the show for E3 in 2019 when I was in that one, or 2020. Jeez, I don't even know what year it is anymore. But they had a clip in the ID Xbox thing with me, and I remember. I mean, that really stood out to me because it was super. The art style was amazing, but it's also just sort of the motion and what's going on in it. It just seemed so sort of dreamy and stuff. And I always love that kind of thing. And the recent trailers are sort of showing a little bit more of the story and what's going on, and I really look forward to it.
Yeah, it's one of those titles that it's so unique in its presentation.
Yeah.
There's no combat, folks. If you didn't know, there is actually no combat in the game. It's a more than just boom, it's a walking simulator. Go watch the trailer and tell me that if you are listen. it appeals to me because, like I said, I'm an 80s kid. I grew up in that hair metal guitar riff kind of a genre that, again, still appeals to me. I still listen to the 80s stuff, but this is a game I think is, it's funny. We were talking about this, Joe, and the rest of the panel, about how this has become 2021 has become the year of the indie. And as shocking as for some that last year's game of the year came at, not everyone's game of the year was what was the game of the year last year, the indie title. You just said it. Hades. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, and Hades is coming into Game Pass. That shocked a lot of people. Didn't shock me because the game is fantastic, but it's I think that we could see a lot of these games, including Joe, don't get bashful, that could potentially be in the running. I think that Death's Door is going to be there. I think The Ascent is going to be there. And don't listen to Metacritic because it's crap. I'm telling you, as The Ascent, you'll see gameplay. It's phenomenal, and I didn't have all the bugs. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I got lucky. I had a few, but not game breaking, where I would give it a 3 out of 10, like that knucklehead from UK Metro, garbage site, complete trash heap. But you know what? Let's go to Zemi Games. Zemi, this is a game. You're an indie guy. I wouldn't say almost to a fault. You appreciate the large titles, but you also appreciate the work that goes into an indie game. Does the Artful Escape hit any of the chords for you?
Yes, it does. And then also beforehand, whenever you were naming all those 80 like hair band, rock band, I don't think you named Twisted Sister, and I got to call that out because
you know what? Shame on me. Hold on a second. Let me get myself because
fantastic
that's Mrs.
band.
Boom's
Fantastic band.
One of our favorite bands. So shame on me for that.
Yeah, but no, I think that this game looks absolutely amazing. I mean, it looks like an amazing tale of a young man discovering himself through music, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Yeah. The psychedelic graphics, they look bright and super colorful. And the dialogue, I think the voice acting really seems top notch for what is an indie title. Yeah. The dialogue is also very comedic, which I appreciate. Right. The mother saying, "Hey, you're gonna be home with tonight's enchilada night." It just had me cracking up, and the narrator, it seems like at the end of the trailer, talking about, having the kid home before breakfast. I think it's really going to be a gem, this year coming out that we're all going to get to play, hopefully. But no, I'm very excited for it. Like Joe, I saw it previously. I maybe like a year or two ago at like an Inside Xbox, and I thought that the game looked fantastic. And this showing, this new trailer, re-excited me for the game. I actually forgot about this game, but now I'm re-excited. I can't wait to play it.
RDM in the chat's asking what game we're talking about. It's called The Artful Escape.
Yep.
It is a game you should be on your radar. Again, it's no reason not to play it if you're an Xbox Game Pass subscriber when it releases September 9th of this year. Cat Daddy Lurk, good friend of the show, he says, I've beaten more indies this year than any other year in my life. And dude, that's fan-freaking-tastic. You know what my problem is? I'm doing the cardinal sin that Boom hates. I got like 7 games I'm playing, and it's making me sick to my stomach because I haven't even played freaking Flight Simulator, and I went out and bought a stick, folks. I mean, it's ridiculous how many games. I mean, specifically for Xbox, the last week, 8-9 days has been just so ridiculous with games. The new tagline Xbox has too many games, especially if you are someone that has Game Pass, because damn, it's just really that good. Mav, let's get your opinion on this, brother. The Artful Escape looks like a game, and I really think Zemi's onto something, that it's going to be a gem. It's going to be one of those games that people are going to play through, and I think that each experience could potentially be slightly different based on what they've shown, where we are going to want to play through this game multiple times, and it really does take the walking simulator and kind of turn it up on its head, considering that there's no combat.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. I mean, this kind of reminds me of a Double Fine game.
It sure freaking does.
Good. That's totally what it is.
It's like kind of out there, creative, trippy. You know, it takes you on an adventure. It's probably going to have just a great story. You know what I mean? So it's actually got really good voice talent too. Carl freaking Weathers is in this game. Okay,
Who doesn't love
Bro.
Carl Weathers? I mean, come on.
like come on, you know.
Apollo
so
Creed.
they have me at that. All you got to say is that Carl Weathers is in this game, and I'm going to play it. You know, so yeah, I love the art style. I love what they're going for with the aesthetic and the kind of the adventure type game. There's just so much to play. This is coming out in September, freaking September 9th, and that's after this whole month of August that we're gonna have amazing stuff to play. There's just no letting up. There's no letting up. Usually this is the dead time right now, right? Usually this is that period that we have before the fall where we just get annihilated with releases. But this time we're getting annihilated with releases now. And I can't decide what to play when I boot up my Xbox, right? It's like, okay, the Ascent, Death's Door, I still want to play Omno. We had the weekend I was playing Halo. It just took me away from everything, you know? And then now we have this to look forward to. Another game that looks like it's just going to add another gem to the library. Now we got to play it, right? We got to play it and see what it's actually all about. But hey, they got a good track record, right? This is Annapurna, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, when have they failed us recently? I don't think so. I mean, everything. I know that Pong's playing The Last Stop, and that
which
he
I
says is really
have
good.
downloaded and haven't played.
There's another one.
Same. I need to play
another one, right? So it's just like gaming is in such a good place to have games like this be able to come out so frequently, right? I'm really looking forward to it, and I can't wait to play it because it looks different, and that's the main takeaway for me.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, we're all going to be treated to some major AAA bombs this fall, specifically from Microsoft in the form of Halo Infinite, which again, I played more Halo this weekend than I've played in years. And you know something? Every time I talk about it, I get goosebumps simply because this was, I mean, what a successful campaign, not just in the beta, but the community buzz around this. But we're gonna get into some of the stuff that went on momentarily. But Pong, let's get your opinion on this. The Artful Escape.
Yep.
The little game that could, joining the ranks of the indie elite for 2021. I think Xbox has another special gem in the chamber.
I agree with you. First of all, congratulations, KS Sante is now over 100. Shout out to everybody who went and subbed. So congratulations, KS Sante, and much more success coming your way, brothers, for sure. So I just want to get that out of the way. So and I gotta give a shout out to the indie gamer who put me on this game a long time ago. Obviously, awesome, incredible member of the community. Joe knows the indie gamer well, as most people do, and he's been talking about the Artful Escape for a very long time. Of course, he is an Annapurna stan, so anything that comes out from Annapurna, he is absolutely pumping up and loving. So, but I've been looking at this game, but little interesting tidbits about this. The guy who created this, Johnny Galvatron, he actually was in a band, and he actually was signed the band, the Galvatrons, and I think they're from Australia, if I remember right, but they signed with Warner Brothers, and they went on tours. So a lot of this game comes from inspiration of him actually being on tour with a band, and writing down. He actually, I think he wrote a book at one point, which he never published, about his experiences, and now he's turning some of that into a game. And he also said that he drew a lot of influence. I think it was from like Kubrick and Spielberg. So anytime you start throwing around those names, anytime you got a backstory like that, I'm going to be interested, and I'm going to want to play this. I think he also said that when he was thinking about this game, he wanted to make it like David Bowie's transition into Iggy, right, or to Ziggy, right? So I think this is going to be something special. I'm not a big platformer, but I am all about trying out new things. And like Mav was talking about, the aesthetic, the color palette that they used, everything about this just screams creative, right? And I'm going to definitely jump into this game. I do trust the indie gamer. Not that I agree with him all the time, but I do trust him to put me onto quality titles and something that's going to be worth my time jumping into. So I am definitely excited about the Artful Escape. I can't wait to see what comes out of this and what kind of crazy, again, like Mav said, perfect comparison to a Double Fine game. I think this is going to surprise us in a lot of ways, and we might, from level to level, there might be something new, to experience there. So I definitely am all about the Artful Escape, and I can't wait for it to show up. I think they got another winner on their hands here.
Yeah, I actually agree with you there, and I think, like I said, it's fantastic that the indie scene is getting they're getting the spotlight it so sorely deserves,
Yes.
and it's absolutely fantastic for the Artful Escape. We have an actual release date, and I can't wait to play. And again, like I said, I've said this numerous times, and I will agree with the indie gamer here. He's been banging this drum that 2021 is in fact going to be the year of indies, and why not? Put them on the map. Let's see them get involved with Xbox Game Pass in a big way, and of course, working with Xbox seems to be something that a lot of people are enjoying, and I think that what you're going to start seeing is more and more of these 1 and 2 and 3 and 10 person teams want to work with Xbox because they're getting the support that they deserve, and more importantly, you can't beat being put into a service where millions of people are subscribed and are constantly, and we've heard Phil Spencer talk about that. Xbox gamers are playing more games now than they ever have. And that's because they're finding new experiences. And that's the one thing that is unbelievably important to the conversation about Xbox Game Pass is how you as a gamer, we all have specific palettes that we enjoy hitting, right? Like we all enjoy, like I'm a story-driven, single-player, selfish kind of a gamer. I like multiplayer, and the one game that's going to get me to come back in a big way is either a new Titanfall, a new Division, or of course Halo. Then I'm all in. But the magic of Game Pass allows us to see games of $500 million in investment in Halo. And in that same list is an Artful Escape made by one dude and using his experience. So, I mean, where else could you find that? Like I said, I mean, again, we're not going to go down this path on why Sony has missed and Nintendo specifically have missed the boat on this. And I don't think they're ever going to join it, but shame on them and great for Xbox gamers. But
yeah, and to your point, Boom, just look at the release that they popped out today, right? For the coming soon to the Game Pass.
Yes.
Look at those titles. Look, we just got we just got Flight Sim. We just got the Ascent. We just got these, more kind of bigger pushed games as well. The last stop, right? But now this time around, right? You're getting Art of Rally is finally coming, which has been a huge indie hit. Racing title, top down, looks absolutely gorgeous. Indie Gamer's been pushing that one forever. That's been on Steam. That is a huge hit over there on PC. We are now getting that into Game Pass. We're getting Dodgeball Academia, which has been kind of a fan favorite over there as well. We're getting Katamari Darcy. I always forget how to say it. Damacy. We're getting Lumines. We're getting Hades. We're getting Curse of the Dead Gods. If you guys are interested in Hades, and you want something to fill that role for about a week, play Curse of the Dead Gods when it comes out. Absolutely fantastic, awesome roguelike game. Go play that. We're getting this wide variety of games, and the way that they're setting this up is that there's always going to be something new to play. We're going to have the big hitters. We're going to have the home runs. We're going to have the AAAs. But then in between, we're going to get all of this just fantastic quality of smaller titles each and every month from here on out. And that is what's so exciting about Game Pass. You spot on, Boom.
Yeah, very, very exciting time for gamers, folks. I mean, there's literally too much games, and I don't know what to do with myself. I do so many games. Like I said, I mean, I just don't have the time producing 4 shows by myself. I actually made a big boo boo on Friday's Breakfast at Boom. I didn't change the thumbnail, and I was getting questions like, "Well, we supposed to talk about Halo." We were, and I didn't get a chance to get into the beta because there was a bit of a hiccup. And then what I did is literally from the show was like, "Peace." I went and played that for 3 hours, and I dropped the ball. But again, all rectified now. Keeping Halo into the conversation, folks. We were talking in the green room before we went live. Now, this is a story, folks, that is not only funny as F, but you're only going to find on the Xbox Factor podcast. And here it is, folks. And it's shocking. It is hilarious. It tells me that the mood at 343 Industries is light. Sure, they're anxious. Sure, they want, they just got past their first big test. It was very successful. Everyone's talking Halo Infinite. This is now my second show talking about it. But this is where the comedy comes from. Apparently, the Spartan-Bots, which were the next level before they shut the beta down, which they were very good and vicious, but also extremely rude, folks. And you say, wait a second, how could they be rude? They're just bots. Well, there was, if you would have told me this, I'm like, it can't be true. But then I saw the video for myself, folks. 343 Industries programmed these Spartan-Bots, not only to be good, but after they destroyed you, came up to your corpse and were teabagging people from the community. What the F? And I have to say, brilliant. And again, in a story you're only going to find here, I pulled a story from Windows Central, and they're reporting that the higher difficulty Spartan-Bots were programmed to, in fact, teabag fallen players. And we know this thanks to Twitter user Whisper, formerly known as Snipe. And he's at Rec SIHW of Twitter, who posted the video of the incident. And yes, folks, this has in fact been confirmed. Now, look, I'm gonna give you a backstory, because there may be some people that don't actually know. What are you talking? Boom! What are you talking about teabagging? I never heard of such a thing. If you haven't heard of it, folks, first of all, I want to ask what rock you've been living under. Get out from underneath there. But teabagging is something that we all have done. Mostly it's you. I don't do that anymore. I'm 50 years old. I'm not teabagging anybody. And has it happened to me? Yes, and I don't like it, but I decide not to do it. And that, of course, is when you kneel down fast on someone that you just killed, and you record it and you put it on social media and you make a meme of it. That's
you're talking about in Halo, right?
You're talking about Halo. Okay,
just making sure.
Don't beat up anybody in real life and then teabag them.
Oh God,
you're gonna go to jail. You're gonna go to jail for multiple sexual offenses as well as beating down somebody. So don't do that. But this was something that was started 20 years ago, folks, in the original Halo. Which, I mean, obviously we saw it very prominent in Halo 2 when it became on that you could play online with your friends. But in Halo on the PC, on the Halo Combat Evolved, you could in fact do this. I'm going to go first to our guest. I know this is not something that you were expecting to talk about when you came on today, because it's quite ridiculous. But hearing the confirmation that the devs went out of their way to program the Spartan-Bots to do this. I mean, does that give you the? I mean, I could be reading the cards wrong here. Does that seem like there's a sense of confidence and lightness to the mood of the room? Again, you're an folks. If you don't know, Joe here worked on Halo, as well as, of course, the now releasing Infinite. You worked for 343 for many years. When you see this kind of development, is that the tea leaves that you're reading?
Yeah, it's always a good sign when you see developers having fun with stuff and adding little bits of tricks and flares here and there, because that it doesn't mean that everything's perfect, but it means that they have breathing room and that they want to make the game fun and want to add that Halo flavor stuff, right? I mean, it's one thing to bust out and finish all of the must-have list of things, and once you get past that and you can start adding the the lore of Halo into those things and all that stuff, that's always a good sign for development. And I mean, the reaction people had to the flight clearly, I think, shows that they're in a really good place with the multiplayer because it was all over my Twitter, and I wasn't in it or anything. It was everywhere. It's a really good sign for sure.
What's interesting about this particular build? A lot of people didn't know this. This month. The beta that we played is a 2-month-old build, and they've gone leaps and bounds from what we understand on what we're going to be playing come this fall. And this played fast. This played really fast. Everything felt good. The gunplay was nice. The guns had oomph to them. The sound was amazing. But yeah, I'm glad that you actually clarified that, because that's the reading that I got. I mean, if you can see developers having fun, that means that they're confident in the work that they're doing. And the teabagging situation is freaking hilarious. Zemi Games, let's get your opinion on this. This is not something that I would promote, but I have to say that it's a story that was funny, and I figured, what, we're all about having fun. What are your thoughts on the developers actually programming the bots to do that? I mean, human beings do that, sure, but the computer control characters, it's just hilarious.
Yeah, I think it's very comical. I really do. And as a Halo fan, of course, but even more than that, I mean, because this has expanded way beyond Halo. I mean, this is a common practice that a lot of players use in Call of Duty, or name your first person shooter, and I guarantee at least one player has done it, in that shooter. So it's a comical thing. It's quite funny. I think it's awesome that the devs are having fun and that they're implementing this in here. But I also, like, the part of me, like the business part of me, looks at this and says, ooh, that's kind of risky, right? Because of the current world that we live in, where outrage is very, very
world that you're talking about.
From somebody's perspective that doesn't play first-person shooters, or maybe doesn't play them very often, maybe they're not good at it, or so on and so forth. I can see articles being written titled "New Halo Encourages Online Harassment by Encouraging Players to Teabag." Right? I can see those types of articles. That's bad press, right? It's funny. It's a good laugh. It's probably something that they shouldn't have put in the game in all actuality, but it's in there. And if nothing else, we're getting a good laugh out of it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, look, the thing is this, the online culture, for the most part, most people will tell you, depending on what day you play, what time you play, that they're having a decent experience. Now, obviously, we have heard many, and I've been unfortunately a victim of racism and sexism that we've seen. I mean, this is more playful. It didn't happen a lot. I mean, again, I didn't know about it, and I played over 100 matches, right? Like, I never saw it. It was only brought to my attention when I saw the story, and I'm like, are they kidding me? Like, because I can see players doing that to each other, but the bots, like, that really threw me for a loop. Mav, let's get your opinion on this. I mean, to what Zemi says makes sense. This is a very, very cancel culture, which makes me sick, because everyone, if you're doing something to be a malicious piece of, POS, I got no love for you. And I hope that whatever happens to you, you rightly deserve, especially if you're a racist, again, POS, or sexist, or you're going after a particular group or person. I got no love for you. So whatever happens to you, good riddance to bad rubbish. But this is one of those instances that teabagging is something that goes on and has been going on for 20 years. It's going on right now as we're having this podcast. I'm sure someone is teabagging the hell out of somebody in Apex Legends and getting a good laugh out of it. What are your thoughts on this?
If you get teabagged in Halo and you find yourself offended, get over it. So, like, here, it's like the whole cancel culture thing or whatever, and everything. Like, things like this help kind of erase some of those edges, right? Like, things like this allow us to start having a little bit of fun. You know what I mean? Let's go ahead and just test the waters and have some fun with this. Like, it's all about in the name of fun. If somebody has problems with it, I'm sorry, right? But don't play it in that case, right? It's not, if you have a problem with it, it's not for you. Okay.
Yeah.
It's about having fun. Okay. I'm sorry if that gets me into trouble, but, like, I'm sure the way they program these bots is by following my wife's gameplay. right?
True story.
Because every time she kills somebody without fail,
Yep.
that's what happens. Now she doesn't call it teabagging; she calls it something else. But I
Yeah,
won't
we'll
say
keep it
that on
clean here,
air.
Mav. We'll keep it clean
Yeah,
here.
okay. But
I love it.
it's all in the name of fun. It's a
Yeah,
freaking video game. It's Halo. You can call it what you want. It's just like a slight insult and a little bragging right. That's all
Yeah,
it is.
yeah,
You know what
I
I mean? And if you can't play games and have that kind of sense of humor and stuff, then why are you in that world, right? I just really want this to stay because it's fun. The devs had fun putting it in, right? Like it's in the name of fun. It's in the name for Halo fans. It's in the name of the gamer. That's why this is in there, because it captures the spirit of what Halo is, right?
Yeah.
It's not only that, it's just a small piece of it that adds that element of flavor to the game. It gives it more personality. Like let's embrace that. I cracked up when I saw that. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is like great. I saw it visually with my own eyes once.
Oh,
and I
see,
laughed.
I see.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was like, I see, and that's why I was even more surprised by it. I'm like, really? Like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you know what? They did it. They're having fun. And again, I actually it went really over my head, or over my mohawk, I should say, that this could have been perceived, and that's why we love having Zemi on here, because he does come at these topics from a different perspective, more from a marketing perspective. And I didn't even it didn't even dawn on me that someone could actually be offended. But I guess I suppose that's the world. Pong, let's get your opinion on this. This is something that in 2021 is almost expected. This is the type of behavior that goes on. And you know something, considering how nasty social media and the interwebs can be, and we've seen it time and time again where there is a line that is crossed, especially in the harassment of females or males or vice versa, or races or sexual orientations, religions, things of that nature. To me, this does not hit that. This is just some playful fun that is something that is done almost on a daily basis. Where do you fall on this?
Yeah, no, I think it's all in good fun. I'm like you, Boom. Coming from the older generation, when Halo first came out, I couldn't stand teabagging. I still can't to this day. I think it's stupid, but I understand why other people find it fun. I'm glad Matt brought up that he is married to the queen of teabagging, because if you have any issues with teabagging, just play a couple rounds with her and you'll get over it real quick, because you're going to see her in your face a lot. Okay, so that's just the way it works. I love it. It is. But no, I think this is great. Again, for 343, understanding the culture behind Halo, because and really understanding the community that is something that has been around, whether you are on the side that you enjoy it, or you're on the other side that doesn't enjoy it. It does not matter. It's still part of what happens in Halo, no matter what, at the end of the day. So to see them program the AI to do this on a infrequent basis, again, it didn't happen every time. Like you said, Boom, I don't think I witnessed it once in all the matches I played either. Just to have that in there as like a little kind of Easter egg kind of thing, I think it's great. And I think that it shows that 343 remains connected to the community, understands the fun behind it, and really wants to give that overall experience as much as they could with the bots. They really did. That was the biggest thing that I came away from. I was so impressed with AI. We have seen AI go horribly wrong in single player games, let alone a multiplayer arena shooter that is built around how the other, how the enemy is going to be as far as intelligence goes, and how the chess match is going to play out. And what they did with the AI in this tech review was impressive to me. From the outside looking in, this was some of the best AI I've played against in a long time. Just from the standpoint, they were unique. They did not, run the same patterns. They had, it was a great mix. At times, you would have swore you were playing against some real people. Of course, once we got into real multiplayer, then you went, oh yeah, that's right. This is what it's like playing against real people. But for the trial run, It was fantastic. They definitely put up a good fight. But I'm just happy for 343. Like Joe said, that if they had the time to do something like this, that means they are at a really confident point in the development cycle with especially the multiplayer, which we were hearing last year was probably ready to launch last year. So it's just really good to get these little confirmations that they probably are having a really good time now polishing and saying, hey, let's throw this in there real quick. You know, that's the cool part about this. And I can't wait to see what else they do down the road because you know, teabagging is only one small aspect of Halo, but it's fun.
Hey, can I chime in real quick?
Absolutely.
The game that is taking the world by storm right now as well, Splitgate, which was inspired by Halo, right? Has a mode called Teabag Confirmed, and it's a cross between Kill Confirmed and teabagging. So in order to get credit for your kill, you literally have to teabag your opponent.
That is hilarious.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that is quite funny.
Yeah. Can I jump in real quick? I just want to, I totally agree. I generally agree with you. I think teabagging is super innocent. We should always be cautious of saying this is how it's always been done, so it's okay. Just doesn't matter what it is. It's always something that to double check yourself on. I think in this case we're totally fine, but it's a fallacy to rely on that too much, and so we definitely always be careful. I think teabagging is innocent. I think it could be used to harass a person in a game if everyone like gangs up. So I mean, there's always you know, shades of gray, and I think the problem with cancel culture is it always feels really black and white, or the, you know, quote unquote cancel culture. But I think we're also allowed to be mad at certain stuff. This is not that thing, but you know, it's never that easy. So. But that's all. Just I random serious point from Joe.
That's a fantastic point. Again, it's something that goes on, and you're right, Joe. It could be used as a tool of harassment if people do gang up on said one person. Folks, if you feel that way, simply just eject yourself out of the game and jump back in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
And block people that were doing it. It's super easy to not play with people you don't want to play with. Obviously playing randos, you know, you luck of the draw. You're going to get some cool people and you're going to get some a-holes in there. And obviously that's why it's good to group up with your friends so that kind of shenanigans doesn't happen. But you know what? I want to do is I want to move on to the bigger topic of the show. This one is going to have a significant amount of big opinions. And I'm glad Joe happens to be here because he's obviously X343 developer. And this is something that, you know, keeping with the spirit of Halo, you know, when talking about free-to-play FPS titles in modern day gaming, which is, of course, right now, the three that jump off the page for anyone in any conversation is going to be Fortnite, Apex Legends, and, of course, Call of Duty Warzone. Now, these are extremely successful entities in gaming. More so, they are making bank for said companies. Well, a new report that I was able to pull from our good friends over at the VGC, the Video Game Chronicles.com, there is apparently potentially going to be a Battle Royale mode coming to Halo Infinite, thanks to some uncovered voiceover saying the words Battle Royale. Now, again, this isn't a confirmation that, hey, this is what they would, you know, it's a lock, because we had heard about a year, maybe even a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years ago, if you recall the conversation, and I do vividly, that Brian Gerard, I believe, is the community manager for 343. He said something to the effect that the only BR in Halo is going to be the battle rifle. And, you know, a lot of people were like, well, you know, that's fine. Because I listen, I tell you right now, even if Halo does get a battle royale mode, I ain't playing it. That life is just not for the old man Boom. That is a young man's game, and I have no interest in it. Big team battle, of course, Pong, we're going to get into that in a minute. That is what I'm waiting for. Slayer is great. Capture the flag, fantastic. But big team battle, these monster maps, is what I cannot wait to get my hands on. But what the voice clip, apparently, folks, was reportedly found in Infinite's preview files, uncovered by, of course, the notorious Reset Era, and features the Halo's iconic announcer calling out the possible mode. Now, the present of the clip does not confirm anything, folks. This is just a story that's out there. I figured it would be an important part of the conversation because the crux of this part of the show is going to be, does Halo Infinite need a battle royale mode to be to run with the pack, so to speak? I personally don't think so. I think Halo is its own entity. I think that it is a long running and standing franchise that doesn't need it. But if they had it, I would not fault them for it, because obviously you're going up against the three big ones. And I mean, PUBG is out there. No one really plays it anymore, but it's still a part of the conversation. But you're talking about Apex Legends, you're talking about Fortnite, you're talking about Call of Duty Warzone. These are very, very popular free-to-play games that have battle royale modes that a lot of people, millions and millions of gamers that go from my age, potentially older, to kids that are 10 years old, they're enjoying it. The question, and again, I know you can't give us anything, Joe, and I don't want any secret information. My question to you is, does Halo Infinite actually need a battle royale mode, or can they exist in their own world, so to speak, in the free to play with the modes that they're going to be releasing with?
Yeah, I think, could there be a good one? Of course there could, if you do it a certain way, and if you do it a very Halo way, I think it could work. But do they need it? I honestly don't think so. I think I think what Halo has already, that's like, has a different vibe than these other games, and so their standard modes, their big team battle modes are the unique thing, and we're not seeing that anymore. And so them bringing those back in a good way would be the best option, in my opinion, because I know I miss Blood Gulch. I miss Halo 1 Blood Gulch like nothing else, and I think that's a unique experience that does not exist right now, and I would love to play that again. And so there a place for it? Sure, but there's so many of those games. The market's flooded right now, and the last thing you need is another big hitter coming out and trying to squeeze into the bucket. And I think they could be unique, and they'd be fine.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think you're onto something with that, because again, I think that the modes that Halo has, everyone has built their games around. Like, Halo is the king. That's the end of the story. You may disagree with me, and I will hear you. I won't agree with you if you say otherwise. Halo started the FPS genre in a way that I think everyone else has copied Halo over the years. I'm not saying that Warzone is anything like Halo. I'm saying that a lot of the foundation that these companies that have these free to play games that found success, probably used Halo to some extent. And I don't think Halo needs to stand in order for it to stand out in a very, very packed crowd. I think it just needs to be Halo. And if the beta proved anything, is that it does still have what it takes to run with the big dogs. And I think that, the smart move, the smart play here is, having, what I love what they're doing at Microsoft specifically, is that they have no problem pivoting to make something work. And I like the fact that 343 has confirmed that this is going to have a free to play mode, and they're probably going to have more Halo players than they've ever had. There's a reason why Master Chief is in Fortnite, to acclimate gamers with who is this green dude with the gold mask. And I think that him being in there from last year is going to interest a lot of players. Let's get Zemi Games in on the conversation. Zemi, the question is simple, but the answer I don't necessarily know is going to be a 1, 2, 3 for you.
Yeah.
Does Halo Infinite need a battle royale mode to remain relevant in modern day gaming?
No, It does not. And I shared this opinion. I mean, we've talked about this, I think, one other time on this podcast, and I've had many conversations with, just friends in Xbox Live parties, and no, I do not think that it needs a battle royale to stay relevant with gamers today. I think a big reason why a lot of people say that or think that is because they see Warzone and they see Fortnite, they see Apex Legends, and they say, hey, these games are new, they're innovative, and because of that, because of this new game mode battle royale, they're getting all of this amazing, publicity and all these players and stuff like that. And that's great for those, 3 games that are like the king of BR right now. But that's not taking into consideration all of the battle royales that come out and fail, right?
Yes.
Fallout 76, they launched their own version of a battle royale. Who's talking about that?
Nobody.
Battlefield. Yeah. Huge, big name in first-person shooters. They came out with the Firestorm game mode, which was a battle royale. Who's talking about that today? Who's playing that, right? Nope. So just because you come out with a battle royale doesn't mean that you're going to see a ton of success off of it, right? And it's also something that that's never been in Halo before. What is Halo good for? What do people realize or recognize whenever they play Halo online? They think of a tight first-person shooter, multiplayer, just competitive, red team versus blue team, capture the objectives, kill, the enemy, so on and so forth. I think it's better for Halo to focus on that, for 343 to focus on what they are really good at and what Halo has done, fairly well for multiple years. Innovate with that, don't just do the same old Halo, but also don't forget, the Halo of the old, mesh the two together, make a Halo that appeals to old fans, but also appeals to the newer fans, and them having the game free to play, I think is going to go a very, for the multiplayer, I think is going to go a very, very long way and getting new players, into their seat, hand on controller to play Halo, right? Because, what's the cost of entry? It's non-existent pretty much, right? It's free to play. There used to be a time that Halo would set the trends, right? They set the trends in what a first-person shooter should be, and companies copied. At a point in time, they stopped doing that. And Call of Duty kind of took up that gauntlet, and all of a sudden companies started copying what Call of Duty was doing. Yeah. I would really like to see Halo come back to the old way of them setting the trends and them, playing by their own tune and them creating an amazing experience that captivates an audience and drives drives a ton of traffic to their game, right? Just regular competitive first-person shooters are still popular today, Valorant, Counter-Strike, 2 of extremely popular games, right? They get a lot of viewership in Twitch even still to this day, right? So you can make an amazing competitive first-person shooter and it be critically successful, right? So I don't think that they need a battle royale. I think that they should focus on what Halo has done well for years and years and years, and not try to be the master of multiple things. Just make the experience for regular Halo multiplayer all that much better, add in new features, and bring back the old fans and the new fans.
I agree. I will say this: if you did not get a chance to get into the beta, and there were a lot of people that didn't get a chance to get in there, they're going to be doing more. I think they're going to be doing at least 2 more, from what we understand, which is standard fare for 343. They've always done beta after beta after beta. I like I said, if I don't get a second invite, I'm not going to be offended. I played the F out of this beta, well over 100 games, and they sold me, because what I got is, I didn't really care so much for. I mean, I understand a lot of people enjoyed Halo 5's multiplayer. Warzone for them was fantastic. It was very well done. But what grabbed me instantaneously with this beta is it gave me the Halo 3 feels. It really did feel like Halo 3 all over again with new graphics, but it just seems so much faster. Like I was going. I mean, you see the gameplay, folks. I mean, I'm dying a whole bunch, but I'm having fun. I cannot wait for the second one. Real quick, a big shout out to One Bad Mother, of course, of Xbox Era, who was a guest last Primetime Gaming. He says they will set the trend with it. The AI and the bots alone offer limitless creative opportunities. Indeed, they do, bro. That's a great point. We have two super chats I got to catch up on. Let me just grab those, and I'll grab Mav's opinion on this. Let me just get to the private chat. We have one that came in from Gerald Mack, an additional $5 super chat. He says, is it safe to say Xbox is saving PlayStation's 2021 with Deathloop? You're welcome, Sony. Well, I mean, listen, with the delay of Horizon Forbidden West, they literally have nothing. They have Kena, which got delayed till September. It's an indie game by a small team. It looks Pixar level like. I cannot wait for that game. It gives me again, I could be wrong, but it gives me a lot of the Cameo vibes that I got from the launch title for the Xbox 360. I loved Cameo, and I'm very excited to see what this team does with Kena. But yeah, they don't have a lot. They basically, put out the games Ratchet and Clank, which sold 1 million copies. Not good in my opinion, considering all of these Sony guys and gals are out there, banging the drum for the first party games, and they don't buy them. Like I don't understand how 7.5 million consoles could be out there. I'm not counting the other 2.5 scalpers that are sitting in garages across the United States and the world, that they only sold 1 million copies of a game that's a console seller. It's hold on, I almost said it. It's a AAA bomb. I didn't want to say the B word because then I got to give Joe $5, and I've given him too much for the $5 already.
Is that game not available for PS4? Ratchet
No.
and Clank?
No,
It's
it's
not.
not.
Okay.
No.
Because of the SSD. They according to Insomniac Games, the reason why this is set apart from the PlayStation 4 is because of the SSD. I listen.
Yeah,
I have a feeling it's gonna be eventually released on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Magically, they're gonna figure out, oh my god, the SSD, we didn't need it, and here you go. But that's a story for another podcast. Mav, let's get your opinion on this. As someone that plays, and you play a lot of online stuff, not only with your channel on Twitch, but you play a lot of with the community, with Caitlin specifically, your wife. Does Halo Infinite need the rumored or data mined battle royale, or can it exist in its own bubble of just being Halo?
Well, that's a good question. But real quick, first, I just want to say that we can all thank Xbox for providing the holiday lineup for both platforms this year.
That is quite hilarious when you think about it. Yes,
It's a true statement. I'm sorry.
Well, throw the gauntlet down.
That is happening, right?
Yeah, it is.
Everybody's going to get to play an Xbox exclusive in one way or another this holiday. So as far as Halo goes, Battle Royale, they don't necessarily need it, but it's like if they keep it kind of separated, right, and into its own thing, it could be a lot of fun. I think they've proven now with the 3 maps that they had for the flight test, and with the model that they've pushed forward with the unlockables, the customization, and all of these things that they showcased with the flight test, that they have brought forward the classic Halo experience.
They sure did.
And I've even seen articles that say they have nailed the free-to-play experience in the right way, right? And it's amazing to see positive articles again about Halo. You know, as a Halo fan, you know how long it's been to see like this overwhelmingly positive thinking about Halo from everybody.
Everyone was talking positive about Halo, even the dreaded gaming media who got on board, which is quite shocking considering
Forbes, Games Radar. I've seen articles.
Yeah,
but Mav, the fruit physics. Come on.
Fruits, I know.
There were some negative articles regarding the bananas and apples.
I was so upset about that when I saw that they didn't have individual leaves on the fruit. When the apples didn't turn into applesauce when you
and
shot
they didn't
them.
Explode.
It was
individually.
It was so offensive to me that this is so like dated. Oh my gosh. You know what I mean? All right, guys. Now, regardless of the people who actually played the game to actually even try and enjoy the game, all had an amazing time for the most part. I mean, it was just like overwhelmingly positive. They nailed the movement. It feels like Halo 2 and Halo 3, but fast, right?
Yeah.
Remember, we always had those talks about aim down sights and sprint. They like did sprint, but like it got rid of all the penalties that we had with Halo 5 and those games with sprinting, where when you end, you're like a sitting duck. Now you can shoot, right?
Yeah.
So there's the disadvantages is the radar now, right? And then also just you can't shoot while sprinting. Like there's these little subtleties that they did with all these things that make it feel great. And if the game feels great, people are going to play it.
Yep.
And with the free-to-play model, you can keep coming out with content after content after content, keep the game fresh for years and years and years with new customizations, new maps, new weapons potentially in the future, weapon skins. There's all this stuff that you can sell to people that's cosmetic and fun. That's what Fortnite nailed. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a battle royale setting, right, in order for a game to succeed in this way. And I think they nailed it with this core experience. That being said, would I like to see a battle royale? I actually would, because I actually do enjoy battle royale games. I like Apex Legends. I even do like Fortnite. I'm sorry, guys. I don't play it a lot.
I spent about $60 on the last couple of skins. I bought them all.
It's a fun game that you can enjoy without spending a dime, right?
Yeah.
You can have just as much fun as somebody who spent $1,000 on it because they love it, right? And that's the beauty of a well-made free-to-play game. Now, if you bring a Halo mode, a Halo Battle Royale, you're going to captivate an entirely different audience that would never play an arena-style shooter. So do I think they need it? No, but do I think it would bring in a whole nother audience? I think so. And that's good for Halo, right? And what's good for Halo is good for me, because guess what? That means I get more Halo. Yeah, so I want them to. I want them to do this, and I think it could be a lot of fun. Now, I want to see it with ODST troopers, right? I want to see ODST, orbital drop shock troopers, drop from the sky, and that's how you pick your location.
That would be kind of dope.
I can see Joe smiling right now, because I think he probably pitched this to them when he was working with them before. I want to see that, and I want to see some NPCs running around the battlefield. You got some Covenant and some grunts running around. You can kind of have some cannon fodder, maybe like Titanfall style, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential that they can do with this, and I think we're gonna get it, but I don't know when. And then the other thing I would like to see is just more like a firefight horde mode, right? But maybe you could do a lot of things with that as well, with all of this customization and free to play models. So the sky's the limit right now, and I just can't wait to see what all they do with it.
I mean, they definitely have they have a wide palette of what they can do for certain. Again, it's if you're a battle royale fan, then you're asking for it. For me personally, again, it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah,
it never has been. I mean, I've played them. I've played Fortnite. I've played Apex Legends. I've had a good time with them. It's just not for me per se. But Pong, let's grab your final opinion on today's show, because we're closing in on 90 minutes, which this is normally the smaller of the Xbox Factor podcasts. Obviously the 343 was thinking about it. Now, whether or not this is still in the game, we will not know. Is it going to be at launch? Is it going to be 6 months after launch? I'm saying we don't honestly know, but the announcer did say the words Battle Royale. Now, I mean, that could be their own take on it per se. We don't know. But what are your thoughts on this? The question for the remainder of the show is, does it actually need a battle royale mode?
Mm-hmm. I don't think it. when we say the word need, that's a big word. I don't think it needs one. I think it's going to be fantastic on its own as an arena style shooter with big team battle, all the ones that have already been listed. Loves Mav's idea about fire team mode. All that kind of stuff is going to take care of this game by itself. So need is a little too strong a word for me. Now, do I think that they're thinking about it and maybe have plans? Yeah, I think they do. I think that's a smart thing to have in your back pocket down the road. Again, when they're looking at making this Halo Infinite a 10-year plan, as they've stated, that not only includes the campaign, but obviously the multiplayer. And if you want this thing to live on, you're going to have to get creative, and you're going to have to come up with stuff that keeps people interested and engaged. And obviously, even though I'm not a fan personally of Battle Royale modes, there are millions upon millions of people who are. So I think you have to have that in the works at some point. And I'll say that I just don't want them to do a battle royale to do a battle royale. I definitely want 343 to have a unique spin or twist, on that mode and make it definitely unique to the Halo world and the Halo universe. And I think if they can pull that off and they figured something out, whatever it may be, whatever that's going to look like, then I think you definitely release it. Again, anything that draws in more people to your game, to your ecosystem, the better it is for everybody. Because again, it not only benefits those people that love to play Battle Royale, but it's going to benefit the community as a whole, because they're going to be able to add more stuff. They're going to be able to continue on creating new experiences for us within this universe. Again, a lot of this Halo Infinite is going to fund a lot of the side projects they talked about. If Halo Infinite is as big as we all believe it possibly could be, that might mean that I get a Halo Wars 3 down the road, right? Because they're going
ODST
or an ODST experience, which is my favorite Halo out of all of them, right?
Yeah.
Other than Halo Wars. But again, as far as the classic style experience, ODST I absolutely love that game.
So
I love that.
Underrated.
Underrated.
One of the underrated 10 times over. Yeah.
Yes,
100%.
absolutely. So again, that's the big thing, is that we need this to be as successful as possible, because we're all going to benefit out of it. Now, one big thing that we have not heard a whole lot about, and the interesting kind of side note to all this, is Forge. Okay. Now, Forge has not been taught. They have not talked about extensively. There's been a couple articles out there months and months ago with some questions and interviews, but they have not talked about extensively. Now, I think most of us have heard behind the scenes that supposedly the new Forge is going to be absolutely incredible. It's going to blow our minds with what we can do. Now, again, I'm not talking about personally. I'm not going to spend the time in there, but I do know the community, and I do know that the Halo people out there who do absolutely love Forge and have come up with some game modes that eventually became permanent members within the rotation of Halo, right? Yeah. And I think that if they do this with Forge, and they create a new Forge that gives players the chance to go out and create basically any idea they may have, I think you might see the community decide for Halo, for 343, that a battle royale is needed or wanted in such a way that they do actually push forward with it. Because I think that it won't take very long. I'd probably say under 2 weeks, if the Forge is as extensive as we have heard.
Yep.
That somebody will already have a battle royale up and running to some degree. And I think from there, if that becomes like something that, everybody gravitates to, or a lot of people gravitate to, and you start seeing the popularity of that build, then I think you see 343 maybe even speed up their plans for an official battle royale mode, or maybe they take some of the ideas that, again, there are so many creatives in each and every community out there when it comes to video games, not people who are, like developers like Joe here, but people who are couch developers who just need to be given the tools in such a way that they can they can work on their favorite game or their favorite universe, and they go ahead and make some incredible things. And I think that Forge gives that opportunity. We've already seen some of the creative stuff come out of, the Battlefield, mode, where they're going to allow people, and that's nowhere near as extensive as the Forge is, where you can map edit. So I think that might be the one dark horse here when it comes to this. Is if Forge comes out and gives players the ability to do something really cool, I think you might see a battle royale unofficially
made by the community,
right? Unofficially out there in the wild, and then 343 can kind of sit back and gauge the interest and take a look at what it's doing and what it's doing right, what it's not doing right, and then work on their own from there. Or just simply say, hey, look, the community's created one great freaking battle royale. We're going to go ahead and adopt this in as official and expand it out from there. Again, I think that's a really cool part of this, and I can't wait to see what happens. But yeah, at the end of the day, battle royale not needed, but I definitely think that it's something they're working on or have plans for down the road, because it just makes sense. You want as many people drawn into this whole universe as possible, and there's nothing wrong with adding another mode like that. Even if it's not for everybody, you're definitely going to have a fan base who does want it and will support it. So I'm for it.
And I agree. Real quick, Lady Foxfire, friend of the community, generous friend of Double Barrel Gaming, she drops a $5 super chat and says this: Halo doesn't need a battle royale, an amazing campaign and great multiplayer, and I'm happy. She's a happy fox. By the way, love listening to Boom Show while running errands and cleaning up. Yeah, thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say. I listen to a lot of people's stuff when I'm cleaning, and I clean all 5 days a week because Mrs. Boom, she don't clean. I clean because she's working. I'm retired. It's literally the least that I can do to make sure she comes home, and she's exhausted when she gets back home. So least I can do is tidy up the place. But I do the exact same thing. And I think Pong, you're on to something here. Simply because when you think of Halo as a package, right? A package deal. You're getting an incredible single player, a new type of single player that we as Halo fans, at least I have been asking for. I want an open world, expansive Halo world or ring that I can drive around. I could fly around. I could find side missions and side stories and be able to talk with my friends and say, hey, did you find this over here? No, I did. Where on the map was it? And you can have those water cooler moments with your buddies. But the multiplayer, and of course with Forge, I actually am right there with you. I don't think that they need a battle royale mode, because if the community wants it, well, hell, they could make it. And this community is as talented, potentially, as the fine folks at 343 Industries. Some of the people in the community, you say, what? They made that? And why aren't you working for somebody? Perfect example. John, the lead voice over at Xbox Era. He has been doing Forge for years, and apparently he's pretty damn good at it. So, like I said, I'm with you right there. I don't necessarily think they need the mode per se. I think that if the community is asking for it, someone or a team of people will come together, they will make it, and 343 will adopt it into the rotation potentially, because 343 is good like that. They definitely are they have the pulse of the community at their core, at least in my opinion. But folks, this has been one hell of a 90-plus minute show. Not only did we have an incredible panel, but we had Joe, single developer of the potentially Game of the Year nominee. So Joe, do me a favor, brother. Talk about your game. We'll get you on out of here. When it's releasing, how could people support it? What are the platforms it's releasing on? And where can people reach out to you on social media and strike up a conversation?
Yeah, well, thanks again for having me. It's always super fun to be on. Song of Iron's coming August 31st. It's coming on Steam and Xbox. You can pre-order it now if you're excited, but it's coming soon. So, I'm excited, and I'm doing my best I can to get it out there. And then the best place to talk to me is Twitter at Song of Iron. I try to reply to as much stuff as I can, and I'm always up to answer questions about game development or just about Song of Iron or whatever it might be. I appreciate the support from everybody always. It's always really amazing, and I look forward to getting it into people's hands.
Yes, we can't wait, Joe. And obviously, I know that talking with the Wandering Dutch, you're going to be on that show September 1st, the day
Yeah,
after launch to celebrate it, and they're giving away 4 copies of your game on that podcast. And obviously, the Wandering Dutch, another incredible member of the community, his
yeah.
podcast just hit 1,000 subs. That is a big deal. So big congratulations on him. Stitch 6669 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Battle Royale is not needed, but it could be beneficial. What we do need is a solid anti-cheating system to protect against PC cheating and, of course, the master race. That's interesting. I'm sure they're working on that. And I mean, again, I don't know if they're going to offer the ability to toggle. I just want to play with Xbox. It should be in there, but we'll obviously see. And One Bad Mother, good friend of the show, he drops a $5 super chat, says, great discussion and guest. Thanks for keeping me entertained while working. Can't wait to play Song of Iron this month. Indeed. Wandering Dutch, there he is in the chat. And why wouldn't he be? Because he is just straight up awesome. But Zemi Games, tell everyone where they can reach out to you on social media and what you got going on with your channel, and more importantly, constantgamer.com.
Yeah, to touch on that one super chat though, I would imagine 100% they're going to add in a feature that limits whether you want to play only with keyboard and mouse people, controller people, or whatever, because that's already implemented into Gears 5, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yes,
I would
yes, it
100% imagine that would be a feature. But yeah, if you want to check me out, you can do so by going to my YouTube channel, Constant Gamer. I post a ton of gaming content over there, gaming news, reviews, let's plays, and a few theory videos as well. So definitely go check out the channel, Constant Gamer. Watch some content, and if you like it, hit that subscribe button. Additionally, you can also follow me on Twitter at Zimmy Games, and I post gaming news on there. Some of my personal theories or opinions, just typical stuff that most people post on their Twitter page. So if you want to follow me there, once again, it's at Zimmy Games. Boom, fantastic show as always. Thank you.
Well, thanks for being here, brother. Definitely appreciate that. And Mav, brother, listen, I know all your shows by heart, and usually I throw them out there, and quite frankly, there's a few of them. But I'm going to give you the opportunity to sell your brand, talk about it, tell everyone where they can check out your multitude of weekly shows, as well as where could people reach out to you on social media.
Thanks, Boom. This was a lot of fun. I love any time we have the chance to talk about Halo, especially with this group of people. I mean, we've got an ex-Halo dev on this panel with us.
I
right
know,
now.
right? Like,
crazy.
Boom is bringing in the guests. See, like,
fanboying right now. But no, seriously, it's a great time. And for anybody looking for some fun content about gaming and more, check out Fun Speculation on Twitter and on YouTube as well. It's Fun Speculation. We have a lot of fun and also do a lot of streams there on YouTube as well, just playing games. You can check us out on Friday nights with the Xbox Ultimate Podcast at 9 p.m. Eastern with the Magnificent Seven. We are celebrating our 1 year, as you're going to watch my daughter run by me real quick. Hey, we're going to celebrate our 1 year anniversary show this Friday.
Congratulations, dude. Yes.
It's going to be we're kind of going to have a little bit of a look back thing because making it 1 year was kind of a big deal for us. But so that's on Friday for Xbox Ultimate Podcast, and then as well as on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, we have the Mav and Fancy Show, which is just it's a random show. You never know what we're going to talk about, and that's with me and my wife, Caitlin. And we may see some talk about food this week, and probably just about every week. And as well as we have Fun Pop Podcast, which is on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern. We are on a break right now. Psychonauts is out of town in Florida, so we'll bring that back in a few weeks. But yeah, check it out, guys. If you like the content, we try and keep it positive and fun. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you like what we do. If not, that's cool. But thanks for checking it out if you have time.
Well, listen, congratulations on the 1 year anniversary. Listen, I said this before, the Wandering Dutch and that crew just celebrated a 1 year anniversary. They just so happened to be in the same month that they got 1,000 subs. Listen, folks, the grind is real, and it's hard. YouTube is a plethora of incredibly talented people. And I'm not talking about the people that like this, like the ones that have 100,000 subs or 500,000 subs or 1,000,000 subs. The again, the plethora of talent is it's a very, very vast ocean. And to be able to get to be able to say that you have been around for a year proves that you are doing it right. You are building an audience, and the way that you guys are doing it, Mav, is the grassroots way of growth, and it's the way that I do it. It's the way Joe does it. It's the way that Zemi has done it. The way Pong Soul and it's important to do it that way because you don't forget about the people you met on the way up. And I think all of us are just one lucky turn from being the next 100,000 subscriber type of channel. I think that's because our content is positive and people like to hear positivity. And again, I think that we're all fair that when a company, regardless of whether that be whoever, does something incorrect, like Activision and Blizzard currently, I came out strong against them, and I will continue to go down that route and go strong against those companies until actual positive change comes. Is it going to come soon enough? I don't know. But when it does, I know that I'm going to be able to say I was a part of saying, no, we're not going to accept that kind of behavior. So I think that we're all in that grouping, and I absolutely love it. Pong Soul, before I get to your brother, Bunty drops an outstanding $10 super chat and says, what up, Boom? Just got up off to catch the rest of your show later on. But I have to say that the Song of Iron is not my type of game, but any developer that supports you, I'll support them. Well, see, there you go. I mean, again, I say this all the time. T-shirts are coming. Not every game is for every gamer, and that is okay. But Pong Soul, let's get you on out of here, brother. You are also someone that is on just about every show that you could possibly be on, and then some. Talk about it. Sell your brand, and where can people reach out to you on social media?
Yeah, Boom. Thank you so much. Again, awesome show today, Boom. Honor to be on with Joe. I already said it, Joe, but I mean it. To watch what you've done by yourself, to make that courageous decision to go develop a game just because you love to do, obviously you had this vision and you just love to go and do that is something fantastic and something to look up to. So again, man, nothing but love and respect for you, brother. And I can't wait. Day one, pre-ordered. Let's go. Song of Iron. I can't wait to see 2 and 3. So you know what? Let us ride dragons in one of them. That's your next step.
I love it. Like Altered Beast.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Something.
I like that.
But absolutely cannot wait, man. So it was great to finally be on a show with you. But obviously, Zemi, my brother from another Mav, great show, gentlemen. Love hearing your opinions. Always. Tuesdays are the best. And it's always great to do shows with you guys. And of course, Boom, nothing but love and respect for you, man. You know that. So been huge. But otherwise, chat, you guys were amazing, phenomenal. I can't use any more descriptors, but you guys were always incredible coming out and supporting us each and every week. Pong Soul, you can find me on Xbox. You can find me on Twitter. You know the drill there. Like Mav already said, 1 year anniversary show this week. Xbox Ultimates, Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Everybody's going to be there. It's going to be a great time. We've been missing, Psycho's been out and stuff like that. So it's going to be great to have the whole family back together again. Can't wait for this Friday night. It's going to be spectacular. So come by, check us out. Saturday mornings, living split screen, all one word. Myself, my brother from another, Steel Rain. Set those alarms. Get ready. Get hyped. Even if you're not hyped, we'll have you hyped by the end of the show. Like Boom started out, I think we went 3.5 hours, just him and I, and the chat. Last week it was huge on the chat. The chat's been absolutely outstanding. But last week we had a ton of good conversation in there. We actually broke off and got into some topics from the chat. Really, really good time. Living split screens, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, 3 p.m. UK time. Saturday night, the Shop Podcast with PTK, Blam, Centurion, Fuzzy Belvedere, and maybe Stigarilla's coming back this week. We'll see. But otherwise, we have a great show, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. end your Saturday night. It's a quick show. We're usually out of there an hour, hour and a half, but a fun time. Come by and check us out there. Otherwise, I'll be back here next Tuesday. It's been great. Play what you love what you play. It's the golden age of gaming, and we'll talk to you all real soon.
Yes. Well, thank you for being here, brother. Definitely appreciate that. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's important to me, hopefully one day important to you. And that's something that my dad taught me with kids. And he said, son, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, and I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. We'll see you next week or this particular Thursday on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor podcast.